Hey there, hope you're doing well. In this video, let's talk a little bit about the Dart and Flutter upgrades. I've done a couple of videos on it already. I talked about a few different issues. In this one, let's talk about one specific issue that relates to Firebase messaging. So we use Firebase messaging to support push notifications on our mobile app, both for the iOS and Android apps. So that's been working fine, and it still works fine. But after I did the upgrade, I had to do a few different things, and it was quite a bit of a challenge to continue to have it working because of the upgrade of Flutter to 2.0 and then Dart upgrade to null safety to 2.12.0. So what happened was not only that, along with that, I upgraded the Firebase messaging version from 7 to 9.0.0, which is the latest version, right? I probably should have waited in hindsight, but hindsight is 2020 as we know it. So I just did the upgrade regardless. I want to get to the latest and greatest. So they made quite a few changes on in this particular version, in the latest version. So there's a few different types of changes. One is when you send the push notifications, whatever your server-side code is, you're going to send your notifications out to Firebase messaging in the cloud, and then that sends essentially pushes a notification to the mobile devices. But when you send the actual messages, the message needs to conform to a certain format and a structure. So essentially the JSON has a number of attributes. You can look that up online from a documentation standpoint. But just remember that there's an attribute called notification, there's one called data. And the Android requires certain attributes to be under notification, if I remember correctly, and iOS requires for those to be under data, or it could be vice versa, right? And then the type of attributes also is different. So when you actually process and parse this response, when you get the push notification on your mobile devices, you have to handle these two variations, and we already do that. But with this upgrade to Firebase messaging, that also changed. So I had to do it differently. And it's not very well documented. That's the problem. And I want to say it's poorly documented. So it took me a little bit of time to get to the bottom of that problem. And the second issue was the changes. Excuse me, speaking too fast. Sorry. The changes that you have to make to the Android Kotlin files. So it also was different. What was documented is actually very different. And I did find one that was, I want to say, I could be wrong. I think it was from Google. It seemed like one of their formal documentation, but maybe it's slightly different, not in the usual format, but it seemed quite official to me. And I went through those steps verbatim, and that did not work. And since it looked very official, I thought I must have been doing something wrong, and I kept trying back and forth. And then after a point, I gave up. I'm like, you know what, this is not working, so maybe it's not documented correctly. So what I did was I edited those files, the Kotlin files, in Android Studio, but outside of my Flutter Android Studio editor. So it actually recognized the syntax and then dependencies, which it does not do when you open it as actually a Flutter project. So then I noticed that the few files that you have to change, I'm going to probably add some links or details because you probably want to see it to see what exactly the changes you have to make are. There's a number of PRs that are open. There's a lot of documentation that you'll find even on Stack Overflow. But none of them work for me as is, just as always, right? You have to take a combination of all of these things, digest them, and see how you have to adjust them to best suit your environment. So what I say here, take it with a grain of salt, because what eventually worked for me may work for you magically, or maybe you still have to make some more changes on top of it if there's other variations in your ecosystem. So anyways, I had to modify each of those Kotlin files in terms of the dependencies, the main file, there's an application.kt file, I think that there's one more. Very differently from what I had seen them be documented, and quite differently from the version I had in the previous, prior to the Firebase messaging 9 upgrade, right? Even when I got it working the last time when we went live a few months ago, I had to deviate from their base code documentation to actually get it working, because it worked in some scenarios, not in other scenarios. It worked for iOS but not on Android, and so on and so forth, right? But obviously we want the push notifications to be stable. We want for them to work all the time and on all the devices, right? That's obviously the bottom line. So keep that in mind. You may have to touch those Kotlin files and the dependencies, and you may very well also have to touch the Gradle files, right? The Gradle properties. Just see which version that you're on. Flutter does not support the latest version of Gradle. I'm pretty certain about it. So you want to be in the most latest version that Flutter does support. And I know by virtue of what I tried over the weekend or the last weekend that it is not the latest one. At least it was not the latest one unless there's been more upgrades since. So every time I do this Flutter upgrade, I keep my fingers crossed because it can be smooth or not so smooth, and more often than not, it actually ends up being not so smooth. But again, these are other dependencies too, right? There's plugins, there's variations, there's a combination of things that come into play. So everything makes it just a little bit that much more complicated. So you have to touch those Kotlin files, maybe the Gradle properties, and then the build.gradle file. What else do I have to do to get Android working? Those were the sets of things I had to do. And for iOS, I think I'm not sure, other than probably what I started to say, right? So you will have your push notification handlers in your Flutter code. The actual spec has changed quite a bit, right? So I think the previous one, there was a static configure method that you could use for on message handler. So when a new message pops up, when your app is not in the foreground, when it's in the background, you do it a certain way. When your app is in the foreground, you do it some other way. So there were a few methods to handle those scenarios, and even to give iOS permissions to receive push notifications. Though all of those have changed as well, right? So I'll try to take screenshots of the code changes I've made, so if that might help you. But if you have questions, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn or something, and I'm happy to tell you what worked for me. So keep an eye on the spec changes. So you have to make changes to the iOS permissioning and on message handlers and the background handlers. That's one set of changes. The second is to the property files, the Gradle changes, and then to the Kotlin files, how you wire these dependencies, right? You got to get all of them working, and the last but not least, the actual data and notification changes, right? So to make sure you have the attributes set correctly and you parse them slightly differently for both Android and iOS devices, then you should be in good shape. Finally, after like a day of getting, trying 1,000 variations and testing out n number of permutations and combinations, I was able to come up with one that worked on my iOS simulator, iOS actual real devices, Android simulator, and Android devices. That's usually the set of tests I do before I say, stuff is looking all right. Hopefully that helps you. Thanks for watching. And if you have not already downloaded our app, go to the App Store and Play Store and check our platform out on the web. Go to snowpal.com, get organized in life, live a lesser chaotic life, and then manage your projects and be happy. Thank you.